I recently had a video that was titled "The Kingdom of Heaven or the Kingdom of God is spread all over the earth and man cannot see it." And after I recorded that, there were some more things that came to mind. So I want to talk a little about that today. One thing is, of course, why can't we see it when it is all over the earth? Right? That's what I talked about. So today I want to kind of invite us all more into the reality of that and how we can start shifting our attention, our awareness, and start sensing something that might be true about it. And it's not something we can do with the mind. There's also our whole nervous system, because we are hardwired to be engaged in a world that is dangerous, where we need to be on guard all the time and work hard and fix and change and improve. Our whole nervous system is really wired for that because we live our life through our five senses, through the nervous system, through the mind. And there we do not have access to heaven on earth. But if it is true, what was spoken 2,000 years ago, whatever that means, then heaven is right here. Heaven on earth is right here now, but we are not seeing it. So how can we start seeing it? A lot of the work that needs to be done, and I'm talking work, it's like we're out of reality again, but a lot of our attention needs to go to calming down our nervous system. It needs to calm down enough so we can put our attention on something that is different than what we're used to. If our nervous system is all wired to do, improve, fix, survive, change, you can probably feel it, right? Just as I'm talking about it, you can just feel it. Just take a moment and just feel yourself, how you are in the world. And how are you there? Are you just walking around fully relaxed because you know that everything is provided as you need it, right? That is kind of a little different than how most of us live in this world. I don't know anybody who lives like that. I know a lot of people who are beginning to live like that, some more than others, but it feels to me like this is our next step forward on our awakening journey back home. But for me, when I remind myself and take time to get quiet inside, so I can start sensing what is here, my nervous system settles down for sure, for sure. And the more I do that, the more I give my nervous system a chance to tune in to what is already here. The beauty of that is really so profound, because when I settle down enough and tune into heaven here now, my nervous system, it feels like it opens up to receive it. In a way, it is that simple. But of course, when we live in an overexcited and overstimulated nervous system, it is not simple. So we need to make that shift from being in our nervous system, our overly agitated nervous system, to come to the place where we at least can be quiet for a moment, even if it's just for a moment. There is something that happens in that moment. It's not that heaven is doing something. Heaven, which is here now, the kingdom of the divine, the queendom of the divine feminine, call it whatever you want. There is an energy here, there is a presence here that is always, always here, because it's all there is. It's who I am. It's who you are. We are not separate from it. We are that. But we have moved far away into this three-dimensional world. So we have lost touch with it, but it is still here. So this place of, we can call it the Garden of Eden, because that's really what we left, right? So in the Garden of Eden, everything is already provided all the time, because it is everything already. We don't need to do anything to be what we already are, and that includes everything. So just thinking about going inside, being still and sensing in, you can follow me in this if you want. Just go inside for a moment, close your eyes, and then sense, or just imagine, or, say to yourself that the kingdom of heaven is right here now. It's just that I haven't been looking there. And that's why I missed it. That's why I don't know that yet. But it is always here. And just by closing your eyes for a moment and tuning in, see if you can just open up to it a little bit. You don't need to do anything to make it be here. What we need to do is relax a little more. And in that relaxation, the contraction opens up so we can let more of it in. And as soon as we relax, it automatically floods in. I've mentioned this too before, that God abhors a vacuum. So when we create a vacuum, instead of being like this, we open a little bit and we create a vacuum. It flows right in because it cannot not do that. You don't need to ask for it or pray for it or ask for a favor to do it or anything. No petitioning. I know we do that because we have been conditioned and programmed to believe that we need to, pray and I'll be good. But it is always here. It cannot not be here, and it cannot not flood us when we open up to it by softening our nervous system, by relaxing a little more, and just by being willing to experience it. That's really all it takes. The willingness, and maybe what we talked about the other day, a longing for it. When you really want it, it's different than when you just have it as an idea that you would like to try it out. It's the feeling in the heart, and that brings an openness to experience it. So if this is not something you're interested in, then, that's fine. Please do what you are interested in. But if there's something in you that has a longing to experience the divine in and as you, in and as your life, and want to experience that it is here all the time without you or I needing to do anything for it, that's the program. And when we start relaxing, what the program often does is try and pull us back out. And that's why it can be very hard in the beginning to just create a little gap or you can go here. And then there's this show me. Come on in. It's kind of an invitation instead of blocking it, like, oh, I have to go and do it myself. So if we want to do anything, we can just say, oh, yes, please, and then feel the opening of ourselves to receive it. And if you have a little more time, if and when you do this, then take some time and just sit there so it can start showing you and coming in. You may be surprised that sometimes it can happen almost instantaneously, depending on how open we are. You know, I used to teach meditation at UCSC a number of years ago. And some of the students on their very first meditation class experience, they had these mind-blowing experiences. And I was like, I never had that happen, you know, but there was something in them that was very innocent and open, and they just kind of followed the instructions, very simple instructions, but it just flooded in because it is here, and it's not even waiting, but it's just there. And when we open the doors, open the portal, it comes right in. So I just felt moved to share that as an addition to, you know, how we are out there, and we are not experiencing heaven on earth or the kingdom of God here on earth because we have our attention elsewhere. So today it's like, well, let us see what it is like when we bring our attention to the possibility that this is true. And the more we can be open to the possibility, at least, because we don't know it yet, do we? It's just like, well, I wish that were true. It's like, oh man, I wish that were true. And then we come in with an openness. And the openness is really all we need for it to be able to flood in. Let's take just one moment here. Just let yourself drop in whatever way you do. Just take a nice breath. You might even say, okay, if this is true, I want to know. I want to know, show me. And just start feeling what it's like for you to come into that place of receptivity, just so you can start getting used to it. Now, because the nervous system has been so wired to not go there, to not relax, to not receive just by relaxing, it's kind of a new concept, isn't it? So it is really something we need to make a daily practice. If you have the time, many times a day, just for a moment, just for a minute, so that your nervous system can start getting used to that there is another way. We are so far away from the simplicity and the effortlessness of life. It's just unbelievable, because when we start realizing that it's right here and it's always been here, and it's for us because it's who we are. It can never be denied us. It can't be taken away because it is who we are. But all it takes is like, okay, I really want to know this. I really want to know this. And the more you want to know, the more you long for that, the more you feel motivated to sit down a number of times a day. Maybe never ever start your day without giving yourself over to this that is already here, and let that guide your life. Let it show you. And the more often we do that, the easier it becomes to rewire our brain and our nervous system to a whole new way of being. And gosh, the way I see it and sense it is that we are actually energetically, collectively moving into this energy where things are effortless. And when I remind myself of that, it's like, oh yeah, then I naturally already relax because it reminds me that I don't have to do it the hard way. That's the past. I don't need to engage in that anymore. I can let myself relax into the effortless way and then keep letting it letting it take me. And I will just end with my favorite mantra that I have shared a number of times with you, which is I am deeply relaxed in the effortless flow and fulfillment of God's loving grace. And that is true for you too.